Gentlemen, excellent to be back with you on MGTOW Money. Today's topic, why do mothers hate their sons? Before we get to that, thank you to the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel. Welcome, Ricardo, the newest member of Patreon supporters of this channel. Men, I do sincerely appreciate it. Men, see the video description today. Become a Patreon supporter of this channel now. Before I get into today's topic, I've got two quick follow-ups from prior videos. One, Miss Stormy Daniels, the infamous adult film actress, had a lawsuit recently dismissed that she had filed against President Donald Trump regarding defamation. In other words, that she alleged he insulted her. I don't know how that's possible, but needless to say, not only has that lawsuit been thrown out, she furthermore has been ordered to pay his legal expenses. Furthermore, second lawsuit, in lawsuit news, Elon Musk, the man who had accused another man in the country of Thailand of child sexual assault, etc., who was involved in a cave rescue several months ago. But he now has had a lawsuit filed against him. In other words, Mr. Musk has now had a lawsuit filed against him in the state of California. And my prediction on that lawsuit is that Mr. Musk is going to cut a multi-million-dollar check to Mr. Unsworth, the plaintiff in that lawsuit. So, needless to say, see the video description today. You can read both lawsuits yourself. Today's topic, why do mothers hate their sons? Let me give it to you in 10 words or less. Because you are useless to women. You have no value to most women, generally speaking. And this especially applies in the Western society today. It goes without saying, in general, in Western society, we've evolved to and are continuing to do to a society raised by women. In other words, the scourge and curse of motherhood is becoming greater and greater. It's becoming more and more widespread. The normalization of single mothers, almost the glorification of being a single motherhood, is well indeed here, men. And by the way, I'll include a link in the video description to this specific topic that I did in the past that I think is one of the most important, and that specifically is the scourge of single motherhood. We now are in an environment within the Western civilization where men are useless to women, where the state has replaced the need for fathers. The only need, seemingly, generally speaking, that men are providing to women anymore are simply to generate intense feelings. We know how important feelings are to many women, and taking a page out of 50 Shades of Grey, that's what women want. They just want some sort of bad boy, intense feeling that some men are able to provide to them. So here's what we've evolved to in Western society and becoming even more so. One, it's shameful to be a male, and especially to be a young boy, because it's that much more difficult to be a young boy in today's society. Two, there are no more male-only spaces. Of course, as you may or may not know, the Boy Scouts now are actively taking on girls. Three, we've got increased androgyny. In other words, this LBGT, trans, that type of thing, who's a man, who's a woman, the non-binary thing, etc. By the way, take a look at the slide that I showed of an awards podium. The person in the middle, the person who looks like a man is actually, quote unquote, a self-proclaimed woman who recently won a cycling event. In addition, another thing that we're seeing, of course, is the increased soy boys, if you will, this increased pacification of men in which many men are repeating this mantra, quote, happy life, happy wife. I don't know about you. That is as far removed from my thought process as possible. Lastly, we're seeing an increased influence, oh, surprise, surprise again, of alpha males, of men that are able to, surprise, surprise, generate that intense feeling. I don't think it was any coincidence that Donald Trump was elected president of the United States. And furthermore, I don't think it's any surprise that he actually got a significant percentage of female voters. So, specifically men, how does this apply to you and what can you do in your life? Let me give you 3 ideas. 1, you got plenty of ways, men, to satisfy your physical urges today. I highly encourage you to consider them, to pursue them, whether they be, of course, adult materials, whether they be online, dolls, etc. Furthermore, of course, there's P4P, I've done videos about that. You can Google more information about that. I'll let you decide what you want to do that. The point is that you do not have to become some sort of worshiper at the idol of Aphrodite and Venus and the golden V, if you will. It is your choice that you can make. 2, you can change the channel. You've got that choice. You can change your focus. Mentally, you can distract yourself. You can start building something. You can start creating something. If nothing else, you've got to start removing yourself and start focusing again on things that are important to you. One suggestion I had, I've mentioned this numerous times before, there's absolutely no downside to this suggestion, which is get physically active. I was never an athlete my entire life. I have poor eyesight. I'm not that physically strong. However, you know what? I know that I can be better. I can be better today than I was yesterday, and tomorrow I'll be better than I am today. The point is, you can improve yourself. Even if it's small, glacial, minor improvements on a daily basis, you can get better. You can become physically fit. Again, this is not becoming a bodybuilder. I've never suggested that. This is not talking about spending hours in the gym. This is just about getting yourself physically stronger because it will have a positive impact on you physically and psychologically. You'll feel better in your head is my point. Lastly, you need to hit the road. You've got to get out of your country. In particular, if you're in a Western country, one of the 5 I's, if you will, I'm talking about when I say the 5 I's, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England, or if you're in Western Europe, you've got to hit the road. Central America, South America, Eastern Europe, anywhere in Asia, for example, get out of your country. I'm not talking about moving. Get out of your country for a week or 2. Get outside of it. Be on the outside looking in. Why am I suggesting this? Because I think you will probably see how warped and strange and actually unusual the Western culture and society is. Yes, the West is a fantastic place to earn a lot of money. However, from a lifestyle perspective, in particular, if you were a man, it is probably not the best place for you to be. But needless to say, again, I encourage you, simply take a step out for a week or 2. And by the way, this is extremely important. It doesn't take much money. I've done videos about this in the past. I'm going to give you a real quick example of something that I did back in the late 90s that you could still do today, as well as there's lots of other ways to do it. When I was still going through my young man phase, you know, that phase of life when many people refer to you as the young man, I had a business idea, and I decided that I needed to go to the Philippines, of all places, to start it going. Anyway, I won't go into all the details, but anyway, I worked with the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines on this idea. So needless to say, yours truly, who had only been out of the country once in their entire life prior to that, got on a plane by himself. And oh, by the way, I was basically flat broke at this time. I got a courier airfare. If I remember, it was like $450 US round trip. $450 round trip to fly over. And I got a hotel, and I think it was around $20. It was a garbage dump of a hotel. But needless to say, it was in sort of the main business district called Makati in Manila. And so it worked for me from a geographic standpoint where the traffic is terrible. So needless to say, the bottom line is, men, when I stepped out of the fishbowl for the first time and I sort of took that geographic red pill, I was on the outside looking in. And even though this is well over 20, 25 years ago, I realized that even at that time, something was broken. Something was wrong within the Western culture. And obviously, it's gone far, far, far worse relative to male and female relations. So, to quickly summarize here, men, it's not going to get any better for you. You are useless to women in the West. However, there are, of course, many ways that you can satisfy, if you will, your physical and psychological urges that don't necessarily require being involved with women, or you can, of course, choose, let's just say, transactional ways of dealing with women if you want to go down that road. Furthermore, I highly encourage you, change the channel and focus on ways that are positive to actually move forward with your life. In other words, that are going to mentally distract you in a positive way. Golden activities, if you will, that I've mentioned in the past that move you forward. Lastly, hit the road, man. It is so cheap today to travel, in particular internationally. In addition, I've discussed ways, for example, by applying for a credit card, you can easily fly to various countries around the world, stay in hotels, nice hotels today, for next to nothing, and again, for very little money out of pocket. Stop your excuses for not getting on an airplane and going somewhere. Gentlemen, as always, hit the like button if you found this profitable. John Galt, out.